Hello.
We can hear you, sir.
Yeah. So, good morning, everyone. Today, we will be going through a short journey with BurpSuite. Wait a second. Okay. So, I think much of you may be familiar with the BurpSuite. So, let's start. So, the agenda for today would be about BurpSuite. We will be going through what is BurpSuite, why we should use BurpSuite, the installation procedure, configuring web browser with Proxy for Burp. Then we will be exploring the tools provided by the BurpSuite and a much briefing about the BurpSuite tools and a hands-on. So let's start. So what is BurpSuite? BurpSuite is a collection of tools to carry out penetration testing or security auditing. It is developed by the company named Portswigger. It is Java-based executable, so that's why it's a cross-platform. It can be used in any platform. It's not dependent on any Ubuntu or Linux, or we can use in Windows also. It gives us a lot of flexibility to do some very interesting things. It provides a great combination of tools that allow automated and manual workflows to test, assess, and attack the web applications of all shapes and size. So with some application we can become extremely comfortable and skilled at using various powerful tools that are offered by BurpSuite. So there are three editions of BurpSuite. They are community, professional and enterprise. If you are a newbie or you are starting with the infosec community, so I would recommend you start using community version, as you can have a good hands on with the tools provided. And if you are pro or in a professional culture in the infosec community, then it's worth spending the $399. So in the enterprise version, it's with about command line integration, unlimited scalability. So it's worth if you are owning a company or running a company. So why we should use BurpSuite? There are many softwares available, then why only BurpSuite is recommended? Its various tools and features work effectively and seamlessly in any environment for penetration testing. This scanner allows you to club both manual and automated techniques, allowing in-depth penetration and analysis. All the scanners are connected and keep the information flow going from one to another, thereby allowing exchange of information to develop remedies. All the tools which are provided in the BurpSuite are interconnected, and you can easily share the information or the request which you have intercepted from one tool to another. You don't have to add on any add-ons for doing that task. It allows you to route and forward the traffic on web application through internet, so that each and every request can be manipulated. It can be used as a basic HTTP proxy to intercept traffic for analysis and playback. A web application security scanner, a tool to perform automated attacks against a web application. So let us start. Before going on BurpSuite, we need to get a bit knowledge about what is web proxy. In computer network, a proxy is a system or application that acts as an intermediary for requests from clients seeking resources from other servers. It sits between your browsers and web application you want to test and capture all the HTTP requests. Take an example. If on our web browser we are accessing the example.com website, so the proxy would be working as we would be going through we would be accessing the internet. So the proxy would just intercept the request and forward it to the internet. The internet would give the response to the proxy, and proxy would send it to our web browser. It will be working in a man-in-the-middle proxy manner. So while using the browser, I would recommend you use Firefox. Firefox has its own proxy settings. Most of the browser require you to set system-wide proxy setting, which is huge pain for a multitude reasons. So I would recommend you using Firefox browser. So let us start with the installation procedure and configure our browser. let us go down BurpSuite website. So here you can get the community version for free. It doesn't require any payment or so to download. For downloading the latest version, here we are having an option on which platform we want. It's a Windows, Mac OS, or we can get an executable jar file also. So let us select the Linux base, as I have an Ubuntu. Okay, so let's download it. Okay, so I already have installed Burp in my it won't take any much long time for installation and setting it up. It's a .sh for bash file, so you just have to give it executable rights and start installing as a normal bash script. So in BurpSuite community version, you would be not able to save the ongoing project. In professional, you can save it, as we are just in the learning process, so we can take the temporary project and move on. So load it with default burp configurations. So like other softwares, Burp also has its own dashboard provided. Here you can find the task running on the current task. So we need to set up the proxy for our browser first. So let us see the proxy is intercepting on the local host at 8080 port. So let us move on to the browser settings. There are two ways I would recommend you set your proxy. For the Firefox browser, it's by the default way by using the manual configuration, or you can set using an add-on called Firefox Foxy Proxy. Sorry, you can add with the Foxy Proxy add-on. So you can use the system proxy settings, then move on to just to add the add-on with the Foxy Proxy. Go to options, then you can set on the proxy of your own. I have already set it up. Yeah, so you can add proxy of 127 local host on the port 8080. So save it, and okay, so let us check if our proxy has been set up properly or not. Turn on the proxy. Let us go on. Yeah, I think we were able to intercept. Yes. So yeah, the proxy has been successfully set up on the browser. Now let's have a look at the BurpSuite tools provided by. So the common tools which are present in BurpSuite are the target tab. The target tab, which allows you to see a tree view of all the domains and path you viewed, also specify the scope of your testing. So here we have a sitemap and a scope. The sitemap works, it would be giving you a whole tree style divisions of the website. We will be seeing further on hands-on. The scope provides you a functionality where you can, if you are working on multiple projects and you want to intercept only a single website right now, so you can set your scope for the working, as many from web application background may be familiar with the word scope. So the proxy tab, yeah, we saw the proxy tab. So the proxy tab, it contains 4 modules. It is a listed order view of all the traffic that is gone on your browser. It intercepts the request. The interceptor, it allows you to view and manipulate web requests as they are in the flight. We can, as we saw earlier, that the web browser makes a request and proxy intercepts the request. Before going it to the main server, we will be intercepting the request and can manipulate it. The HTTP history, it allows you to show all the requests that proxy has seen from your browser. So the next is WebSocket history. It allows you to show messages sent over WebSockets. The next comes the Intruder. It's the most it is used for brute forcing any parameter, or it allows you to view and manipulate web requests. So let us start with the in Intruder. There is the target tab where you can set your target, and then it's a position tab. While intercepting, if there is a SQLi vulnerability, or you want to brute force any password at the login panel, so you can intercept the request and forward it to the Intruder tab, and then at the positions tab you can set your position at the password space, and then use the common payload, common techniques like sniper, battering ram, pitchfork, and cluster bomb provided by BurpSuite. So what is a sniper? What does sniper performs? It generates a single set of payloads, then tries them all on each position which you mark. This is usually the best route if you are not looking to find bugs and that require multiple parameters simultaneously to change. Battering ram. It is basically the same thing, but instead of trying them separately, it just puts each payloads in every position all at once. Each position will always have the same value that the other position have. Next comes the pitchfork. It takes a payload set for each parameter and iterates over all of them at once. You can think like this like a spreadsheet where each column is a position, and each row contains a payload for each of this position, and it just walks down those rows. What is a cluster bomb? We can, as the word suggests itself, the cluster bomb is spraying or in a huge number of we can say as values. Yeah, this generates a payload set for each parameter and independently iterates over all of those per position. If you have a tiny number of payload and positions, then only you use it, as it generates huge amount of requests, and even the time taken is exponentially with the number of position. Then comes the repeater tab. If we are working in a penetration testing, the repeater tab will be coming across multiple times, and it would be the most favorite, as it allows you to intercept the request, and then it allows you to manipulate the request much number of times without intercepting it all each and every time, and execute your we can say the request which are, or the changes which you are making in the request each and every time, you can perform there in the repeater tab. So what is a sequencer? It allows you to capture or load a set of tokens and assess them for flaws in various ways. The decoder tab is a tab where you can, which have a functionality of common decoding techniques like base64, ASCII, hacks, or URL encoding. And then comes the comparer. The comparer tab is mainly used for comparing any changes. If you are using any vulnerability, and if you don't know, like if there is a content length difference, or there is any difference in bytes or words, you can use the comparer tab. The extender tab is used for adding any BurpSuite plugins or any add-ons on the tabs if you want, as BurpSuite provides a BAP store on it. So extender tab works in that. There are 18 payload types given in Burp. Some of them really interesting ones. There are like extension generated, ECB block shuffler, character frobber, and null payloads. So let's move on for the hands-on on BurpSuite. Okay, so let us. So these are the default as the intercept is on, it would be intercepting the request, yeah, by default. Okay, so let us move on to the target tab. So yeah, as said earlier, the sitemap tab gives you the functionality to it gives a website in a tree order view. So as you can see, if there is if let's take an example of Google Play Store. So earlier, so yes, the website is showing in a three-way manner with the log with the gear like symbol. It is like there's any functionality going on currently. Then let's go on. Wait a second, let me intercept my, I have set up a OAuth juice shop for it. So we would be working on juice shop today, intercepting few requests of it. So yeah, it has intercepted. Okay, so if we don't want the rest of the website, so we can just add to scope the website we are working on, and yeah, always take in future. Okay, so as you saw, as we added the website in the scope, it is getting reflected. Then we have a filter option here provided by BurpSuite, where we can view only the request which we want in the scope. Okay, so we have a clear view of the website which we want to see. So yeah, let's go in the sitemap menu, click for as deeper as you can see. If the page with the quantities we have not visited, or it's just a web page which the BurpSuite has intercepted and gone through it, we can it comes as a normal web page. The folders comes which has multiple API or any functionality or pages stored in it. Then let's go on the proxy menu. So the proxy has the intercept functionality, then the HTTP history. So the HTTP history also comes with a filter tab where you can view only the scope items. Okay, so yes, we can see. Then as here we can intercept we can order the request according to the number. Okay, then the proxy comes with a options tab where you can customize your intercepting request, response, or response modification, or match and replace. The most important or having a look about the proxy tab is the response modification and match and replace, which these settings are used to automatically replace the parts of the request and response passing through the proxy. Yeah, I would be answering the questions at the end of the session, so kindly hold up. So after going through the proxy tab, then comes the intruder. Here we have a option by putting the target, or we can just load at the positions tab. So as I said earlier, we would be intercepting a request, and we would be setting a position for it, and then we would be brute forcing it with a customized TX brute forcing the email tab. Then the payloads option gives us there are some default payloads provided by the BurpSuite in the pro version. Here you can set a simple list and load file from your own. You can give a custom. Then your payload you can automatically URL encode the payload. Then comes the option tab where you can, in community version, the number of throttle threads is defaultly set by 1, and if you are using a pro version, you would be having an option by setting your throttle to the amount of values you can brute force at a single time. Then you can grab the match if you are knowing that there's a forgot password. If you know that the login panel prompts you incorrect login at sending a false credentials, so you can tell the BurpSuite that don't grab the match of successful login. So okay, then we will be going at the repeater. The repeater tab is having you will be having a two-way bifurcation, like here you would be keeping your request and you can see the response. Then comes the decoder tab. The decoder tab gives you, as we talked earlier, gives you space to encode or decode any amount of data. Okay, so let's start with the juice shop. So wait a second. Jamin bhai, I need to unscratch the screen as. Okay, okay, yeah, I got it. Actually, the thing was overlapping the juice shop, that login. Okay. So let us, the intercept is on. So let's intercept the. Okay, so first we need to set, yeah. So the only the target scope, the target in the scope would be intercepted. Okay, so here we have a login panel. So let us log in with as admin and intercept the request. Okay, so we have successfully intercepted the request, and let's take it to the repeater tab. You can right click on the tab and click send to repeater, or you can simply click Ctrl+R. Okay, so we can here send the forward the request to the web page, and see we have a prompt on invalid email or password. So let us move on to the repeater tab. As I said earlier, repeater tab would be storing the request, and see we can here perform multiple times invalid, or we can try logging as administrator, and so here the request does not gets end. Okay, so let's take the request to Intruder by right clicking it, send to Intruder, or we can just click Ctrl+I. So by default BurpSuite would be giving you setting the positions for the, as it takes for brute forcing any data. So let us set our customized positions. Let's add it. Okay, so we can add the position at email. So we would be brute forcing the admin's email by customize. I have downloaded a checklist in which there's a SQL injection payload having multiple SQLi techniques and payloads in it. So let us load it. Okay, so yes, you can here add your own data also, or remove it. Just untext the box of URL encode characters, and let's start the attack. Okay, so the Intruder attack tab would be giving us the status code of the website. Let us have a view at this. See, it would be having different status code for each correct login and false login too. invalid, we can check unexpected token. So we can bifurcate by the content length of it also. Let's check for the content length. So we will be here looking for the 200 request, as it would be giving us the login with the credentials. So it would be executing one by one the each payload. Yeah, so after a few amount of time of waiting, we got 200 status code. Yeah, we are getting much more. Yes, so let us end it, and we can copy as a curl command if we can execute from the terminal. So we got to know that so let us end it. Okay, so we were successful in attacking the login prompt. So okay, so this was the SQL. Let us try it at the repeater tab. Okay, so it shows that even if we are executing in the repeater tab, the same request got executed at the web page also. So you have successfully solved the challenge. So OWASP Pro Juice Shop is a platform where you can test multiple OWASP top 10 vulnerabilities, and it gives you the chance. It's a learning box where you can perform multiple vulnerability tests. So let's log in. Okay, so wait a second. Okay, so I have yeah, is there any questions? Okay, so firstly, if you are want to get much more into BurpSuite, yeah, I would recommend you a BurpSuite Essentials book by Akash Mahajan sir, and there are my YouTube link which I have attached in my in the PPT itself. So I am a final year student at Paro University, Null Ahmedabad volunteer, and author at the Bug Bounty Write Up and Medium. So is there any questions? Hello?
Yes, sir. There is a question in YouTube chat.
Yeah.
It says, how does Burp intercepts the HTTPS? Because HTTPS is encrypted.
Yeah. Sorry. I just. Okay. So if you want to intercept the HTTPS request of web page, you can you can set up a SSL certificate. Actually, I had set up earlier, so I just okay. Yeah, you can generate a CA certificate from here. As I have already set up in my browser, it will be giving me the confirmation it will take. So you can set up a certificate here and then move on to your browser. At the certificate by search in certificate tab, you can import the certificate from yourself, the generated certificate by the Burp. You can add it here and import and it would set an SSL certificate of the web page. Yeah. Any more?
Yeah, we have a couple of more
And then
questions.
move on to your browser.
Dheeraj is asking how to intercept non-HTTP traffic in BUP. If possible, please explain.
Okay, the non-HTTP. So if it's not SSL, we have intercepted a non-HTTP request here. It's I'm running on my local host, so it's a not HTTPS request.
No, he's asking that whether the request is not HTTP or HTTPS running on any other protocol. Is there a way?
Any other protocol like on the local host or any other? Yes, you can intercept the request. Uh, Actually, I cannot get the question properly.
So the request is not HTTP
Okay.
and running on any other protocol other than
Any
HTTP.
TCP or
So he's asking, yes, exactly.
any FTP protocol.
Yes,
Yeah.
anything other than.
Yes, you can intercept it. You have to set a proxy on your web browser, and you can intercept it as you. Yes. Wait a second.
So
So
Dheeraj, to answer the question, there is a BURP non-HTTP extension which you need to set up. So I'm dropping that in chat. If Swar can show us that. Using this extension, you can intercept the traffic.
yeah.
So I'll drop that in YouTube chat too for the reference. We have a last question from Balram.
Yes.
It
The
says, can we avoid Chrome and Firefox static request in Intercept?
static request in static request like the default request. Hello. Jaimin bhai, am I audible?
Yeah, like which are not actually getting some data from dynamic text interface or HTML file.
Uh,
Static. Is there a
yes,
way?
if you are if you are testing on a particular scope, then by adding the website to a particular scope, you can you would not be able. You can avoid the Chrome Firefox static request in Interceptor. Did it satisfy the question? Hello.
There'll be some delay. Just a second.
Okay.
Okay, so I would request Swar to just drop in the YouTube chat and you can answer the questions there.
Yeah.
We won't hold you too much. Thank you, sir.
Hello. So there's a question by Hectrick. How does it get to?
I want you to answer those questions in the chat because we are running out of time.
Okay. Okay.
Just answer the question in YouTube chat. That would be
Yes,
good.
sure.